Hey there, Steve Gamache with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. And what we have this time are, or I should say is, the Takayuki Ginsan Damascus Gyuto 210mm knife. So this is a collaboration, you can read on the site, between two the better Smith and sharpener combinations, or a combination of Smith and sharpener in all of Japan. And these are beautifully crafted blades, so let's dig in and take a look at them. So the construction of these, the core steel, the hard cutting steel, is Ginsan, or what's known as Silver 3, Ginsanko. There's a few different names for it, but it is a fine-grained stainless steel that it's easy to sharpen, takes a fine edge, and it's just one of the better conventional, non-powdered metallurgy, non-PM stainless steels out there. It's great for kitchen knives. Heat treat is not specifically entered on the site, but typically would be around 61 and 62 Rockwell for this. The construction is 63 layer of soft stainless cladding and a Damascus finish. And we'll have to show you a close-up, but it's a rather subtle Damascus in this particular case. And so that cladding is over the Ginsan, the hard cutting edge core steel. The weight, these are solid middleweight knives, so the weight on this is 183 grams, or 6.5 ounces. And the edge length on this one's about 201 millimeters, or about 7.9 inches on the cutting edge. Overall length is about 13.9 inches, or 353 millimeters with these handles. Spine thickness, these are, again, kind of middleweight knives with a fair amount of stiffness to them and some muscle to them. So coming out of the handle, above the heel here, I measured about 3¼ millimeters spine thickness, about 2.7 millimeters of thickness halfway down the blade, and then about 1.5 inches maybe from the end. I measured about 2 millimeters. And so you can see they do kind of taper, and then it gets pretty thin right at the very, very tip. So it's kind of a continuous taper as you go down towards the tip. The grind on these is just sublime, and that's one of the best things about this blade. They are, again, not thin, but you can see the grind. These are just beautifully ground blades. They have a subtle contour to them from the spine down to the edge. There's not a hard shoulder, but there's a gentle curvature geometry coming down to the edge from the spine. You can pretty much see that right here. Again, these aren't very reflective. The multi-layers there in the Damascus is, fairly muted on these, but definitely, kind of a subtle masterpiece. So the grinds on these are just masterful. They cut really well. They've got a muscular feel to them. Definite middleweight, a lot of stiffness to the blade. I guess let's get our beauty shot here on this particular side. It's a little hard to show the Damascus till we close up on it, but you can see the core cutting steel there at the edge. They've got some fairly deeply etched kanji on there. It's not chiseled, but it is etched on there, and it's a deep pattern. It does really pop on these quite a bit. And they've got some embossed kanji on the left side of the blade. You can definitely see that right there. It depends on the lighting here. Let's see what we can do as far as showing you the Damascus. This one is actually more subtle than the 240, but this should give you an idea of some of the Damascus look to it. The spine does show the layers, and it is a little bit polished and a little bit relieved on the corners. The choil has relief on the right side of the blade and a little bit on the left side of the blade as well, a little bit more on the right, but it's comfortable either way. If we take a close-up here, you can kind of start to see the layered finish there. There we go. Sorry, we got some noise in the house here with a little bit of water running. Again, the finish is just super neat on these. The out-of-the-box edge, I'd say it's pretty good. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's I think you could probably put your own edge on these. The 240, I sharpened the 240 and it sharpened up beautifully. And I think you could probably be advised to put your own edge on these if you know how to sharpen. They put an edge on it. It's a little bit of a quicker edge, but beautifully ground knives. Let's see, blade height is 47.6 millimeters. So you got plenty of clearance there for your fingers. The handle is an octagonal, kind of basic hoe wood or magnolia wood with a buffalo horn ferrule. There is a little bit of a step there between the wood and the buffalo horn. Looks like a pretty tight glue up on there as well. They've chosen an old school handle install. This is just a little bit of glue here, but old school handle install on there where they show a little bit of the tang coming through there. And that's just an aesthetic decision on their part. What else here? Balance point. The handle's pretty light, so that brings the balance point back to this area right there. And that's pretty doggone close to a pinch grip for me, maybe slightly in front of it. So it gives you a little bit of a kind of a muscle feel, a little bit of a blade forward balance, but you got a little bit of mass there. Again, these have a stiff, very confident feel on the board. They've got a muscular feel. They're not lasers, but they cut extremely well. And that's the magic of a great grind, is they can have some muscle on the spine, but yet get you a good performance, a nice food separation, and food release. So here's the edge profile. And it's a little bit curvy. You got a little bit of flat towards the back, kind of flows into that. Kind of a medium height tip on it. So I can get pretty high here. So this will rock really nicely. Push-pull cuts, a little bit of chopping towards the back, but I wouldn't say it's especially flat, but it should chop pretty well towards the back. So kind of a little more aggressive belly towards the tip. But again, these are unique. They're beautifully made. They're all stainless, and collaboration between two fabulous craftsmen getting these knives out, and it's just a unique knife and a real kind of an heirloom quality piece. So this is the Takayuki Ginsan Damascus Gyuto 210mm knife.